皆さんおはようございます。もしかしたらこんばんはですね。まあ日本でもこんにちはって感じですね。Well, it's afternoon here pretty much now in Japan. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. What is this in my pocket? It is a piece of a shoe. So yes, don't have a ton of time today, but we'll just do a short little stream. Maybe talk about some things. See what's going on. Maybe talk about some grammar stuff, Japanese stuff. I don't know. Um, I'll pin the Discord again. Let's see. There we go. Pin. So yeah. Um, really like a concept that I want to kind of get into, if possible, is two things. But let's just go with one. Is the idea of storytelling in Japanese, or really any language at all. Like the idea of storytelling to learn a language, I feel like is really overlooked, or not even maybe even thought about. But it is kind of essentially, it's like how all of our languages are handed down uh, over time, just for all of time. And so one of the first things that I started to do, really? Okay. One of the first things that I started to do when I got to Japan is, the classic answer to what do I have in my pockets is, the ball. I don't want to throw it. I don't want to get rid of it. What's up, buddy? So I've never really heard anyone talk about it in an official capacity. But I always tell my students that like I just happened to choose this as my first goal, like when I came to Japan, and just I was like, all right, what do I want to do? Like I just chose it because everybody always says, all my friends growing up, they're like, JD, you suck at telling stories, like in English. And I was like, I need revenge for all of the negativity that I've gotten for that in my life. So I just made a goal, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be good at telling stories, which is like, yeah, like yesterday I went to the store and I did this and blah blah blah. And yeah, I feel like that was just like my very first goal in Japan. And so I was very focused on, okay, how do I say, like, really what first happens is past tense, right? I went to school, I talked to my friend, I saw this, I did that, I ate this, it was good. And as I did, like, time, I mean, I just kind of naturally had that. And so whenever I would be immersing, like in Japan or watching anything, I would just really, really focus hard on when somebody was telling about, like, I might not have been able to understand the content, but you can at least pretty much tell when somebody's talking about something in the past. So that's what I was always focused on, just focusing on, that person talking about what they did in the past. And so the more I focused on that, the more I realized, I guess much later, but actually storytelling and telling stories is, like, it involves every single aspect of a language, because it's outside of time, essentially. Like, I think normally when we interact, like, with other people, it's like, are you going to do this? And then it stays there, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. And then we'll see that and we'll eat there and we'll do that. And you kind of like transport into that time slot. But with stories, it could be like, oh, I was at the supermarket and I started talking to this woman and she said, I'm going to the store tomorrow and, blah, 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 blah. And then she told her husband, that he was waiting in this place. Like, you kind of like, it really like kind of brings together all of the grammar elements that you would ever use in your language. And so I don't remember if I really realized this till, much later, but especially when thinking about teaching Japanese, or like, what did I do to get better very fast? For me, it was definitely telling stories, and really focusing on being good at that. And this has also really led me to, think about, I don't know if it's the same for other languages, but it really feels much easier, if you're learning Japanese, to start with past tense. I think it works for other languages simply because I think we all really understand like past tense in general. Like, it happened. Like, everybody understands that concept. And so it's not that you're not really too worried about anything. What? Oh, before I forget, whose lesson was I doing? Was it Alex? I think it was this lesson. Teaching. Yes. This one. Yeah, like, I wonder when, like, dictionary form in Japanese, as far as like, the dictionary form, plain form, base form, like iku, yaru, suru, taberu, nomu. This kind of form, I feel like, is really what throws a lot of people off when they're first learning Japanese. Especially when they're learning it in mas form, which pretty much virtually everybody does. When you're like, ikimasu, tabemasu. And stuff like Duolingo even throws this off even more. Here, let's see. So, like, just for example, so you go to PowerPoint. Why is it all big? Oh, I have a PowerPoint in there. Hold on. But essentially, like, I just, storytelling plus this idea of like, what do the words actually like mean, and what do they entail, I think is something that we need to look into more. So if we say like, what are some verbs that are like base verbs? Like, a lot of the time people learn tabemasu first, ikimasu. What are some other ones? Ikimasu, nomimasu. Like those very beginner verbs. I just don't want to use ikimasu for certain reasons. What else? Mama, yeah. It's fine. Just because it's a regular, But, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. So we have tabemasu, ikimasu, nomimasu. And like, already, personally, I feel like using mas can throw people off of what is easier to learn in the language. So I don't really teach, most of the time I don't teach polite straight up. Most of the time because people already kind of know it. And because it's usually not the issue. Sometimes I've had students that like only know plain form or whatever, and then we I always teach both at the same time, but yeah, usually it's plain form and the basic form that people struggle with. So let's just focus on those for now, and let's just use hiragana just to make things even more simple. So taberu, iku, nomu. So we have eat, go, drink. These are like hopefully the ones that everybody knows at the beginning, right? And so I feel like this is what I was doing in my lesson the other day. I was like, okay, like what does this actually mean? Like, what could this mean? And so if we look at just like Like, for example, if JD said, taberu, like no context or whatever, and it's just like, eat. Okay, like what could this possibly mean? And I think this is like a big point that, I'm gonna make my camera a little bit bigger. I think this is a big point that a lot of people miss out on, and they might not really fully, I didn't, that's for sure. It's like, you think you know what these mean. Let's put it in like keigo too. Mas form. Tabemasu. So like, what could this possibly mean? And I think most people, everybody answers something a little bit different, but it's usually not the first thought that a Japanese person would have, or that we would have. So what could these mean? This could mean, let's start with a question. I think that even might be more helpful. Taberu, tabemasu ka? So this could mean, are you going to eat? Let's just add like, whatever, implied. Are you going to eat that? That's like the number one thing it could mean. Are you going to? Number two is, this is the one that actually very few people catch on to. Even people that live in Japan for like a long time, sometimes they never pick up on this. And this is really important. And like, the beauty of this is that it's so simple in Japanese. So simple to ask, like, are you going to eat that? Do you realize how complicated that is in English? Like, you need to understand so much just to get there. Like, are, that's a conjugation. You know, you, sure. Going to eat, and then that. It's like, that's a pretty complicated for English, but Japanese, just the verb. Just the verb. That's all you need. So number one, are you going to eat that? Number two, do you want to eat? Let's just keep using that. Do you want to eat that? And this is like really important, actually, the second one, because this is the classic answer to what do I, the complexity here is because English doesn't really have a future tense. Are you saying like built into some words, or do you mean like, you know, like will go is technically not a tense of go, it's like will and whatever? What's up, dude? What the heck? The day I decided to work remote, you steampunk. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, actually won't be able to stream super long today. I got a emergency work thing in Osaka later, but just got to keep up the grind. If I skip 1 week, I'll want to skip next week, and I just got to get in the habit. So, trying to. Is that what you mean, Bridgewater? Like, it's not like goal. It's not like goal equals will go. You're saying like will is technically, you know, a verb, right? Is that what you're saying? Like Japanese doesn't have a true separate future tense, has auxiliary. Yeah. I think I know what you mean by that, even though I don't understand the words. Yeah, whereas Japanese, I call it now later tense. It's not perfect, but it's like a good description. Now later tense. That's what I call it and refer to it as, you know, because it's either something I'm going to do now or something I'm going to do later. Or something I do now, right? And that's kind of the last one, is do you eat that? So this form can mean all of those things, as I'm sure you guys, maybe you guys who are watching are aware. I think one of the wild ones is understanding the difference in shimasen ka versus shimashou ka. Yeah, it's another good one to look at. Good to think about. So to me, this is like crazy. Maybe I should make this bigger. Is that better? Like, I think that's pretty crazy. And this is why I always say that the beginner Japanese is a really forgiving language. Like, it really doesn't take much skill or memorization. I think, yeah, it doesn't really take any skill or memorization. Not much at all to understand that. Man, I can't draw with my pen when I do this. Maybe I should put it in power. Like that. Does that work still? Can I draw now? Can you see that? Oh, cool. Nope, it doesn't work. Let me change. That's good. Right? So it's crazy that if I can just do this and like, okay, let's say just memorize taberu tabemasu ka. And you can use it for all three of these things. I think that's huge. I mean, these are like some of, especially number 1 and 2 are like some of the most common things that we talk to people about or ask. Indian language, what's up 24/7? The Indian languages are similar to Japanese in grammar and verb conjugation. Really? That's really interesting. I have heard a few times that Turkish and Japanese have the exact same grammar structure. And I think the exact same like organization. Like I've heard it works the like exact same way. I don't know about conjugation, but maybe it was the structure that's like the order. So like, you know, kore wa ii desu ne. Like it would be the same in Turkish or something. That's what I've heard. I guess with this stuff, are you trying to show that no kore o taberu? No, not at all. I think that's like a whole separate topic. No. Just saying like the most basic forms in Japanese. I started off by talking about like telling stories and stuff, but separate. Thought Korean, yeah, Korean and Japanese very similar. Yeah, so like imagine like a Korean person learning Japanese is like an American learning Spanish. Like it's that similar. You know, there's definitely differences, but there's a lot of those words that it's like, you know, toshokan, that in Japanese library is like dojokan or something like that in Korean. I know they're really similar. So they just need to know the word exactly. And that's kind of what it can end up being in English or Spanish for English speakers really quickly. It's just like, oh, what's the word? Okay, now I'll just say it. Not that hard after that. So yeah, to me it's very amazing that we can just do this. So like, are you gonna go? Do you want to go? Do you go? This one, so here's the weird thing, guys. Number 3, which I think is usually the least common. You're fine, dude. No, that's the whole point of the stream. It's like lots of different ideas, everybody talking. It's fun that way. Like number 3 it's strange to me that this is always like the first usage that all text, I swear, every textbook I look at, Duolingo, it's like always, sushi tabemasu ka? Do you eat sushi? But like, it's kind of like the least common usage of these verbs and stuff. So it always bothers me that that's like the most common thing that I see, and it's the least common thing in the language. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's so messy with the Japanese material out there. Like, it feels like nobody's really tried. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. I was like, this could be so much better. Bridgewater. I had an interesting experience recently where I described a concept and someone suggested the Vietnamese for it, which was the same as the Japanese with a slightly different pronunciation. Describe a concept. Interesting. I wonder what word it was. The vibe isn't quite there for do you eat sushi and sushi o tabemasu ka, right? Like you understand, like you use, you know, that kind of stuff every day, right? And it's like if you go up to somebody and you just say randomly, sushi o tabemasu ka? They're not going to think, oh, is he asking, do I eat sushi as a thing? No, he's asked, that's an invitation. right? That's saying, do you want to go get some sushi? That's what that's asking. Sushi tabemasu ka? They might say like, kyou? Kono ato? Ima? Right? So they're going to ask for like a time thing. But other than that, it's like, nobody's ever been like, oh, yes, I eat sushi. It's just not really even how we say it usually. It's like, usually if we want to ask, do you eat sushi? We say like, your name. So, Steven は寿司を食べる人? 寿司を食べる人? Are you a person who eats sushi? Like, that's usually how that question gets asked. I don't know about with sushi, but like, especially for like sake, right? That comes up all the time, right? It would be, JD はお酒飲める人? Are you somebody who can drink sake, alcohol? Like, that's usually how that happens. Like, do you drink alcohol? Are you able to drink it? That's usually how that works. Piggybacking on that, it's probably why a common mistake. I know. Well, technically, Nihongo o hanashimasu is not wrong. It's funny. I looked into that again. It's just usually Nihongo de hanashimasu is better or makes more sense. But it is the common reason, I think, why a lot of beginners will say Nihongo o benkyou shimasu. Now, this is definitely like the number one mistake. Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. お酒飲める人? 食べれる人? Yeah. Right? All the time. All the time. It was Michi. Oh, that's really interesting. I have zero knowledge about the ties from Chinese to Vietnamese. I don't know how closely related they are, but obviously Japanese and Chinese very closely related. Like Dao, like Taoism, Dao and Taoism. The kanji is Do. Pretty dang similar, right? Ah, is that the one you're talking about? Nice. Just by chance, huh? So yeah. So my guess is China. If China is the origin, I'm not 100% sure. So boom. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Immersion kit is awesome. I forget who showed it to me first. Man, when I was twitching on stream, when I was streaming on Twitch, lots of people would just give me all these awesome resources, and still people do, but it's just like that's been like the best thing is like, so many people just shared their resources, and it's since I know a lot of the there have been so many, and then like there's somewhere in some document that I saved, but the really 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 good ones like immersion kit, like dude, that thing is so good. It's not perfect, but pretty darn good, and it has a lot of tools. So yeah. All right, guys, let me just check my train time. So I don't go over. Okay, got it. I have some time. So let me set an alarm. Yeah, let's just do this. All right. Can I actually ask you a grammar question with understanding yoga nai, yoga yoto? Yeah. Maybe elaborate a little bit more. I need to turn down my. Yeah. Elaborate a little bit more, and I can probably help. So, yeah, that seems to be like. Yeah, that's helpful. What were we saying? Yeah, so anyway, just to maybe, I don't know if I finished the thought, but I think this is how, I think it's probably more helpful to teach somebody all the things that these can mean at the beginning. And I think it's, I just think it would really benefit people to know, like, first this, right? And like, I usually don't even teach this, because it's usually so irrelevant. Not that irrelevant, but it just, I think there's bigger, these are much more common and have bigger priorities first, you know? So yoga nai. Yeah. You just need to be, sorry to make you type, but just a little more specific in terms of what you're talking about. Because, yeah, so I ran into yoga nai, like benkyo shiyoga nai. Yes, in the sense of there's no way. And it sounds like a shikata ga nai, at least how it's taught in the textbook, but I noticed in music it's wilder. I hate how this gets cut off. And oh, I can make it bigger. That's at least slightly helpful. Kind of, gosh. You noticed in music it's wilder. In the sense of expressing feelings, nidoto shinai. I think those are pretty different. Those are like two different things. But like, yeah, there's, are you talking about like yariyo ga nai and like tabeyo ga nai, that kind of thing? Because yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll take it one at a time. Like this kind of thing, like shioganai, yarioganai, nomiyoganai, that kind of thing. This is like, there's no point. There's no point. I think there's no point in eating it. There's no point. Oh, you guys aren't even seeing that. What the heck? Yeah, there you go. So there's no point, essentially, is the way but nidoto shinai, honestly, like that, mo nidoto shinai. Like, we say that commonly in conversation, all that. Mo nidoto yaranai. I think that's fairly common. The lyrics that I saw made me go, wait, I don't think I get it was like, bro. 雨に降られようが明日が変わるもんか. Nice. That's cool. かっこいい. Yeah, dude, lyrics are really fun. I think everybody should listen to songs and learn from songs when they're learning Japanese. It's just like, it's just very different, very fun. So 雨に, yeah, you know, no matter if I get rained on, it ain't gonna change tomorrow. Basically, something like that, you know? So this one's a little different, I think, than in the sense with the kawaru monka. Yeah. I think that's, yeah, kawaru monka. Like, very spoken, but it can, you know, you use it in a song for sure. But essentially, like, this is like a pretty good approach to like N2 grammar, M1 grammar. Konnichiwa, Tiger Basil. Irashai. Genki, how are you doing? We've definitely met before, right? So I always think of like this furare yoga, like furarete mo. Furarete mo. Why is it not giving me the kanji? Come on. 雨に降られても Furareo ga. I think it's similar enough to where, yeah, okay, I thought so. Yeah, I was originally on chat. I thought I had seen you from there, but I said that like once or twice the other day, and they're like, no Twitch. I was like, okay, sorry. But yeah. How you doing, man? Are you still studying Japanese? Trying to get back into it? I remember the thing I couldn't understand is why/how the vibe changes with temo and kawaranai. Are you saying like, yattemo, それをやっても何も変わらないから? Is that what you're talking about? それをやっても何も変わらないから. Like, the way I understood this that always helped is you need to understand temo and demo as even if. I think that's the easiest way to really understand this, because it'll really transfer across all those different usages, even if it doesn't always feel the same. You know, これでもいい? Like, is it okay even if it is this? Like, I know that's weird. Oops, it's cut off. こんにちは、リーゼントさん。いらっしゃい。ありがとうございます。Thanks, man. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. What I mean is, like, what is different vibe between 振られようが振られても? I mean, 振られようが. Like, 振られようが、雨に降られようが、雨に降られても. Like, 降られようが maybe just sounds a little bit more poetic, or, you know, even with, I mean, it works in English, right, Bridgewater? The reason why even with this, I don't like as much. It works with this, but it's like, at least in my head, that's all that matters. I think with might affect things with other situations, like, but I don't know. I've never even thought about that translation, so I'll think about that. So I think the difference, Steven, is mostly just like 振られようが振られても. It's hard to explain the difference in that feeling, but this just feels a little bit more like straight up. Like, even if I get rained on, but this is like no matter if. Right? I think that is kind of like no matter if versus like even if. You know, they're really small nuances. I think eventually those kind of things, it's not so much about what's the English. It's just about like you're saying, is like, how does it feel? Well, I'm hungry all of a sudden. Tiger. I do want to take it more seriously, so I've just been slowly integrating more Nihongo in my daily life in many ways, like changing my phone system to all Japanese, etc. Nice, dude. It's always a good place to start. That is like the #1 advice I have for anybody. If you are like, if you want to get better at Japanese, like, it's like, you know, it's not, I need to study Japanese more. Like, this is bad. Like, you need to really get rid of this idea of, were we talking about this the other day? I don't know. Get rid of this idea of study and just say, like, I need to study. I want to have, yeah, we were saying I need to explore more Japanese. I want to have more Japanese. Something like this. Doesn't really matter in my life. And so you're trying to just like incorporate it in daily ways. Like, you know, like your phone is good, but it's just like, you know, it's all about building habits. So it's like, you know, if you go to brush your teeth, like, this is the way you build a habit is not by just saying, I'm going to start it today. そうそうそうそう。これが必要。なんか必要っていうよりね、なんかこういう英語はなんか、も 日本人よく言うじゃん。もっと英語勉強しなきゃとか言うやん。でも、勉強しなきゃじゃなくて、もっと英語を勉強したい。こういう、まあ、気分転換っていうか、こういう、ちょっと、視点を、変えてみると、全然変わる。英語勉強せなーとか、勉強っていう言葉自体は、やっぱなんかいろいろ嫌なイメージついてるやん。捉え方を変えることが必要なのか。そうそうそうそうそう。少しでもね。Yeah, dude, let's do it. I love this. I think it's really fun to look at the we gotta listen to it, right? Maybe I can find it real quick and just play like bits. Yeah, we'll play it for a little bit. Let's see. Gotta find the chorus. Gotta stop so we don't get flagged. I don't know. Stay with me. Yeah, this is pretty complicated, right? Where'd y'all go? Yes, of course. Low. Me and my best friend, the one who's translated, we're doing lyric analysis of Trico. Yeah, dude, Trico. Whew. That is I've lost the amount. This song has become so wildly popular. It's crazy, right? It's pretty great. I love that can happen. So, Mayonaka no Doa. You guys can figure this part out. So, what's Mayonaka no door? Mayonaka no door. What is that? What is that? You guys can figure this out. But yeah, middle of night's door. Not bad, not bad. Yeah. Who knows what that means to her? You know, let me look at like all of the lyrics. Might be able to find something better. But like, Mayonaka no door. 言ってたそんな気もするわ。グレーのジャケットの耳覚えがあるコーヒーのシミ。Dude, I love the songs from this era. The lyrics from the songs of this era are just very interesting. Like a lot of them are just about like a memory. And it's really cool. Like I see it in many songs where it's like I remember the coffee stain on your shirt. Like stuff like that where it's like just like always you have a coffee stain on your shirt. And it's like so interesting. Like we could never write that in English, it feels. You saw Trico a few weeks ago? Yeah, their bassist. Oh, the bassist has a band too. I didn't know that. Wop wop wop. So let's see. Stay with 2人すれば show window に2人. I don't know what a show window is. Maybe just like a window of a store, I'm guessing. Okay. I don't know for sure because it's, it's a song. But Mayonaka no Doa, so, o tataku. Tataku. So, tataku. Kon 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 kon. Wow. That's, oh, this, yeah, English songs. Wow. 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 I'm just like, Yeah, this is great. This is great. Yeah, I've seen Trico a few times. They used to be much better. So, knock on door. So, a lot of people will see like Mayonaka no door, and so we think middle of night's door, and we think, oh, I have to tatakai, tatakau versus tataku. Very different, very different. So knock on door in middle of night. So I know it doesn't say it like that, but that's what it's talking about. So Japanese, it doesn't always take possession, but it's like to knock on the door that's in the middle of the night. But yeah, it's, you know, rather than mayonaka ni doa o tataku, which is like probably normal, like at the middle of the night, it's a little bit more kind of like poetic, like that you know, that door in the middle of the night. You're knocking on it. I was assuming there's an implied like anata no doa, but no, nothing that sexual or anything. I used to think about that too, right? So, but it's just talking about like, because before, she's saying, you know, I remember. She's just kind of remembering the time spent with him, and you know, just wishing they could spend more time together. Like later, she says, "Mayonaka no doa tataki, kokoro ni ana ga aita." Like there's a hole in my heart. Samisama kirashite oita rekodo no hari. Just very cool lyrics. Onaji melody kurikaishite ita. Yeah. So definitely this is the main chorus. So kairanaide. All right, what is kairanaide? If I say it like this, it's a little bit easier. Kairanaide, what does that mean? Can you figure it out? Can you figure it out? It's very good. Wish we could just listen to it as we did this. I hate DMAs and all that stuff. Don't come back. You don't come back. No. Opposite. Don't go home. Don't go home. Don't leave. Steven-san. That makes us cry. Yeah. I'll explain the toll in a second, but naita. I cried. Right? Ano kisetsu ga ima me no mae. That like season, this is more like time, is right before my eyes. I'll take it out. Yeah, you better take it out, bro. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Nah, I know. You're like working, dude. It's fine. Makes sense so far? So, kairanaide, that means don't go home, don't leave. So, ano kisetsu. We do need some music in the background, though. Like, unacceptable. Gosh, I just wish we could listen to it from some other thing, you know? Is there like a remix somewhere we can do? Tokyo City Pop Candy. Alright, we might get away with this one. We'll see. Should be good enough. Could you say ano toki and have a similar meaning? Yeah, for sure. Ano toki, so the difference, if I said ano toki, like that time, and it would be like a short period of time, like that day. So if I said anotoki, it would sound like that time. So like a certain memory. That's why like sometimes this is sometimes in songs and manga. This is sometimes read as toki, even though it's shunkan. So yeah, should be shunkan, but it's toki. So yes, that's right. That's right. Very good, Steven. Yeah. So why does it say to? Steven got it. So it's like, it's a little tricky here. That's why it is a very hard one. Kairanai de tonaita. I cried. And it's like cried out. It's like cried. It's maybe it's ambiguous. I'm not actually sure. But it at least says like I cried, don't go home. But I think with this language, it's more like I said don't go home and cried. I don't know for sure. It might be just ambiguous, but yeah, that is the idea. So kairanai de, you know, if we put quotes here, it really makes it a little bit more easy. Kairanai de to naita. So instead of just say like to itta, I said to naita. Just add some flavor. Which works? Jelly-san, you spelled home wrong twice. Don't go. Really? Jeez. It's weird how that happens. Thank you. Don't go cob. Don't go cob. I like the nani nani o kizuku to bikkuri shita. I thought kairanai would be the negative of kairimasu, so like. So you are right, but it's not kairanai, it's kairanai de. So this might be something you haven't learned yet, Cash, but essentially, the nai form of a verb plus de equals don't, you know, whatever, don't blank. So just like te form, so if we have the te form, like blah 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 te, this equals like, you know, it's a command, right? So if I say tabete, eat. Nonde, drink. If I say tabenai de, don't. そうです。皆さんよくわかりましたね。don't eat. 飲んでじゃなくて飲まないで equals don't drink. そして最後に帰らない。帰らないで equals don't go home ですよね。don't go home。はい。で、まあ、go home してほしかったら、if you want them to go home, you say 帰って帰って go home. I think we did do it once. It's a contraction of ないでください. So yeah, really it's just think de. You're adding de, and that's like the te form. Yeah. That's at least how I thought of it, you know. But yeah. How long is this song gonna play? For like 12 years? Come on. Alright. I think that's a good place to stop. I don't know. I don't even know like the actual what this is. It's just I've always just thought of it as like a alternative. Yep, there's my timer. Oh, look at my internal timer going. I've always thought of this as like a alternative negative te form. Like that's the thing is like you don't really need to know what's going on, and that's why like oftentimes learning about a language can be pretty like a waste of time. It's like you don't have to understand what's happening. You just have to memorize what's what. And that's good. That's good enough. Like I never studied Japanese verbs. I just learned what's what. And, you know, then you do it, you use it, and you're done. It's always vibes in the end. Yeah. So, 食べないで, and this is, you can also do the same thing. 食べてください, right? 食べないでください. Yeah. You'll see that all the time, everywhere. So, good little stream. I'm glad we fit that in. I had fun. What about you guys? Did you have fun? I had fun. But yeah. Next week, gonna try to do the Wagotabi thing. I want to spend like maybe 2 hours on that just because I want to try to make it into like a short video just to really review it. So maybe stream for like 2 hours with that. Just trying to go through the game and see what it's got, if it's any good. But I really want to like review games, just to like get it out, Have fun in Osaka. Thanks, man. では皆さんありがとうございました。今日も楽しかったです。It was fun again today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Had a blast. Heart. I can't do that. So lame. Hearts to everybody. Confetti to everybody, smiles, embarrassment, and hundreds. Very good. Very good. All right, guys. Have a good day, and yeah, reach out in the Discord if you need anything. またね。バイバイ。バイバイ。お疲れ様でした。Have a nice day. Bye bye.